Hello and welcome to this third video in the series on Chapter 1 of Jekyll and Hyde, carrying on with the extract. All at once I saw two figures. One, a little man who was stumping along eastward at a good walk, and the other, a girl of maybe 8 or 10, who was running as hard as she was able down across the street. Okay, let's analyse that quotation. Our first introduction to Hyde is as a little man, which is significant. We might expect Stevenson would create an evil alter ego for Dr. Jekyll, who's large and powerful, to show how powerful Jekyll's evil instincts are. But instead, he points out that evil is easily overlooked as little because it is hidden away. Alternatively, could be suggesting that Hyde is not yet very evil. So this is important because in the next quotation, you're going to see that this interpretation we've got as Hyde being terribly evil is actually not how he's personified or portrayed in Chapter 1. Stevenson actually suggests that he is not the worst character here, and Enfield is actually much worse than Hyde. Let's take a look at the next quotation. This will be a little teaser for my next video, but Hyde is called a damned juggernaut, something that's absolutely massive, that's damned, it's going to go to hell, really pointing out how evil Hyde is. But if we go back to our first quotation, he's not really responsible. He's walking along, a good walk, but he's charged into by this girl, running as hard as she was able. It's not his fault what happens at all. And you'll see that in my analysis of the next quotation in the next video. Okay, let's finish by looking at the bold vocabulary, which tells you what the important vocabulary is that, remember, you can use in every single essay. So, our first introduction to Hyde is as a little man. Because you will always write about Hyde, whatever the question, even if it's about Jekyll, this first description of him as a little man will always be relevant, especially if you're going to follow my argument that at the beginning, and perhaps all the way through the novel, he is not actually as evil as he seems. Next, we have this word might. The examiners call this tentative language, and it's the way that you show your looking at alternative interpretations, because when you say it might be this, you imply obviously that it might not be, it might be something else. And that's just a way to get into the examiner's head and say, look, there's more than one interpretation here, I'm being sophisticated. That looked a bit like me dancing, didn't it? Sorry about that. You will always be able to use this phrase, that Hyde is the evil alter ego, the other side of Jekyll. That will always be a relevant phrase. Use it. It makes your writing seem sophisticated. And then finally, alternatively works just like might did. Alternatively says, look, there is this interpretation, but also look, there is another one. I'm such a brilliant literature student that I'm going to consider both and then show you which one is the final one when I get to the conclusion of my essay. So I hope you found that helpful. Look out for number 4, which will be coming up next.